Thank you, Jess, for letting me know that my audio is not working. No sound. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. We should be good now. Oh my gosh. I had this set up previously and I checked my microphone and it was working. So some reason my microphone went out. Thank you so much for letting me know. I appreciate that. And that is why I always ask you, if you're watching me, can you let me know you can see me and hear me? Let's start over. Welcome in everyone to your FunFold card class. We're going to be making this really cute little double tunnel. I'm calling this a double tunnel FunFold card. So you may have seen me display it like this, right? And talk about that I was talking, you couldn't hear me, but I said that it folds flat for mailing and then it sits really nicely on like a little mantle or a bookshelf, something to that effect. So this is our card today. My online card club is going to have the kits in the mail soon, so you'll be able to use these kits to create this card. Now, if you're not in my online club and you want to make this card, I'm going to talk you through the directions and give you all the tips and hints, the best way to make this card, because believe me, I went through some paper trying to get it figured out. So it was a little bit crazy. All right, thanks Jess and Mary. I appreciate you guys so much today for helping me out with this. I seriously would have done this whole video with no sound. Let's get over to my workspace and I'm going to talk to you about this card a little bit more. Okay, here we go. So this is what it looks like. So right, it's going to fit flat. Somewhere I have, okay, so this is a regular A2 size card, right? Regular size card. If I fold this, flip this over, you're going to see, this is the back of my FunFold card, that it's the exact same space. It takes up the exact same amount. So it's going to fit into your regular envelope. So A2 size envelope, it's going to fit into that. I think it's really, really cool that it does that. Okay, so you're looking down, so it's really going to be hard to see that. But I'm going to just show you that it does freestand here. And this is what it looks like from the side. Really cool little card, right? So what not to do? I actually had some hits and misses here. This is one of my samples that I couldn't fold. This is all glued together, right? And I can't get it to lay flat. It won't lay flat. I have a couple of them actually that I just totally missed. And then a third one. And by the time I went through 3 of these, I decided that I really, really, really needed to figure out the best way to make this so that I could keep making them. Now here's another one. This is one of my club kits. Someone's going to get this in blue, which is really cute, right? This one's not finished yet. And then I have even more club kits to show you. So this is one that's going to be in purple. And in my original, I just did a really quick, simple stamp with a cat, colored it in, and it's just easy peasy. But sometimes you want to get a little fancier, right? This is going to sit up on somebody's shelf perhaps. So in this one, I did a little background stamping. I added in some punches and I added in a nice little sentiment here. So that's an example of that one. Here's this one. There's going to be someone in my club that's going to get these colors. And if you recognize this paper, this is from the Flowers and More Host Designer Series paper. For this one, again, I did a whole bunch of stamping on it. And then I have a punched piece here. It is on a dimensional. It's kind of probably hard to see. This little heart is up on a dimensional. And I added all kinds of little red rhinestones in there on that one, which I thought was fun and sweet. And then you may be getting this one if you're in my online card club. And this one again, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about adding more. So on these ones right here, the 4 that you're seeing right here, I have the dimensions that I'm going to give you for this layering mat right here. And the important thing to know is that when you fold it up and flat, you want to make sure that this piece doesn't go off the top of your card, because it has to fit into an envelope, right? So it has to be within a certain footprint. Now for this one, I added an extra scallop contour piece, so you can see that extra piece is on there. But I had to be careful that when I folded it up, that it didn't go off the top. So I was very careful with the height and the placement on that. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you want to add more, you can. Just keep in mind that if you're putting it in an envelope and you have to fold it to get it into an envelope, you don't want it to go up and over. But here's another one that I did. Again, a nice sentiment on here, a little butterfly and a ribbon. So these can get really as fancy as you want them to get. And oh my gosh, once you get going on them, just like everything else, right? They're going to be so much fun to make. So let's talk about how do you make them, right? So Card Club, my friends, you have some kits in the mail. And this is what you're going to get. You're going to get some cardstock, and I'm going to be recreating this pattern, but I'm going to do something different for the front of it. And you're going to be getting some Designer Series paper, always two-sided, but I think the purple is going to go really nicely here with the fresh freesia. And then you're going to get the matting piece. So this is the piece that's going to go right here on your card. So you've got these two pieces. You can stamp or decorate this one. Obviously you can add more always, right? Now in the mail, you're going to have one score done out of 4 scores that we're actually going to do to this card base. So this is our card base. So you're going to start out with a 4 1/4 by 10 1/2 piece of cardstock. So you're basically cutting your cardstock in half the long way. You're doing the hot dog cut, right, for 4 1/4. And then you're going to trim off a 1/2 inch because normally our paper is 11 inches long. So you can trim off a 1/2 inch. And this is going to be our card base. So we're going to do some scoring. So you are going to need a nice score tool, and you're going to need a score tool that has the ability to go quite a ways down the ruler here. Now, you guys, in my card club, you have a score. Like I said, I scored the first score for you at 5 1/2. So what I need you to do is just start over here, and we're going to find the 5 1/2 mark on our paper. And you're going to have to line it up. I'm going to do some creative math here with you guys. So if you don't have a card that's already scored, you're starting from scratch and you're just working along with me. This is your 4 1/4 by 10 1/2. Your first score line is going to be at 5 1/2. Card Club girls, I scored you at 5 1/2. So just line this part up in your trimmer. You're going to see my score line is right here. We're going to just pretend it's not here yet. That's 5 1/2. Next, you're going to go over to 6 3/4. And you're going to score it again. So make sure you're scoring and not cutting. And now we're going to go to 8 3/4. And we're going to score it again. And our last score is going to be at 10 inches. So we're just moving it on down and scoring it at 10 inches. So 5 1/2, 6 3/4, 8 3/4, and 10. So now you're going to have all of these folds in this piece of paper. And we're just going to start by, and they're going to fold inside. So just flip it over, fold it in, flip it over, fold it in. Find the next one, flip and find, find your score lines, flip and fold, and you're going to have everything that you need scored really nicely. Then you can just bring your bone folder in and burnish those nice little score lines so that you have a nice little, a really nice base that's going to move around. So as I'm holding this, this is the back piece, and actually this is going to, we're going to layer this on here, just so I'll put this here for visual. There are no score lines right here. This is a piece of Designer Series paper at 4 by 5 1/4, your basic first mat. And then these parts and pieces are all going to, as you can see, they're scoring and folding up. This is going to form the first tunnel of our card. So when we bring it up like this, it's going to form that first tunnel. So what we're going to do before we do that, though, we're going to glue down our designer paper. Now, if you wanted to do cardstock that was embossed for something different, you could do that too. You could do a couple of different Designer Series papers. However you want to decorate this, just keep your orientation in mind. With this one, we've got our flowers going this way because the front of it is going to look like this when we're all said and done. So we want our flowers to be coming down toward all of our little accordion folds here. Okay, so we've got those all on here. Now we're just going to flip this up and over, and we're going to hold it in tunnel position just so we know where our next designer paper goes. And this paper right here is 4 by 1 3/4, and it's going to mat right here, as you can see here on some of these cards that I've already got, right? So this front piece right here is where we're going to put this other piece of designer paper. And I'm going to just put this down now because I feel like sometimes it's easier to do this before it becomes a 3D project. So if you want to do this at the end, you can, but I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. So it's going to have that nice border all the way around, right? So again, when we bring our tunnel together, we've got the front facing really pretty. Now we're going to adhere this piece right here, this little, I think this is like a 1/2 inch score line. We're going to adhere this to the Designer Series paper here, and we have to do it in a manner that's going to create a perfect tunnel, right? We don't want to be off, we don't want to be too big, we don't want to be too small, and there's a method to this. And I discovered the method after I messed up several of them, because this was me just attempting to like glue it down approximately where I thought it should go. So I finally figured it out. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hold this shut here for a second, and we're going to put this glue right here on this flap, so you can see where this flap is, right? And then we're going to fold this over like this. So I've got it just like this, and I've got my score line I've got 2 score lines here, and I've got my little flap here. And all I'm going to do now with the glue on it, I'm just going to bring this up and close it. So this is in its closed position. So if you take a regular size card and just kind of measure up, if you're a little confused, like, wait, what flaps are going where? This is confusing, right? Take a regular card and just put your glue on it and fold it up and over so that it matches up with a regular size card. Okay, when you're all done, and it may take a minute for this glue to set, but when you're all done, you have it perfectly positioned. It's going to be perfectly positioned across the width of your card, and it's going to be perfectly positioned for that first tunnel piece right there. So that's the easiest way. Don't eyeball it, because if you eyeball it like I did, you're going to have lots of card parts and pieces that aren't going to work for you at all. Okay, so there's tunnel number 1, and the reality is if you wanted to stop here and just use this as your card, you could decorate it and it would be beautiful. But we are going to add that second tunnel on here, and that's where this piece comes in to play. So you do have to do some scoring on here as well. So for this one, let's see if I can't move some stuff out of the way, because I want my trimmer to be at the bottom. Let me close this up. It'll take up less space. All right, I'm going to use the bottom of my trimmer now, because this piece right here is going to go in the long way, and this piece of cardstock is 3.5 by 5. 3.5 by 5. Yep. And we're going to score it the long way. So we're scoring it at 1/2 inch. And then we're going to move it over and we're going to score it at 1 3/4. So it's going to create our second tunnel. So you're going to score it right here. It's at the 1/2 inch, and then 1 3/4 inches right here. So this is going to be our second tunnel. So you kind of create a little L type shape. I'm going to move my trimmer out of the way because we don't need that anymore. Go ahead and burnish these down. Okay, and then if I put this on my card, just like this. So I've got my little crooked piece of paper here. It's all crooked up because it's got all those little cuts and scores in it. It's going to come on here just like this, and it's going to create that double tunnel. So that's how we're going to put this down. But again, you don't want to eyeball it. If you're eyeballing it, you're going to be like not able to fold. This is wrong. Don't do the wrong. I'm telling you, I have figured it out really well, and we're going to do it the right way so you can fold it up nicely and everything lines up perfectly. And you may be wondering, how are we going to get this on here? We're going to actually use some tear and tape this time, just because it's going to hold quicker than the glue, because we have to actually adhere this piece, and then we have to adhere this piece onto here. And when I used glue, it was sliding around a little bit too much on me. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this open. We've got our small score at the top, followed by the next score down. We're just going to put some tape right like that, because this is going to go onto our card. It's going to adhere to the back, and this is going to come to the front. So we're just going to put the tape on there, and then once the tape is on there, and of course you can be using tape runner if you choose. Once the tape's on there, I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to close my card to the front. So my card is now in the closed position. I'm going to line up this piece right here, this little score piece, with the top right here where it comes down and folds over. So I'm just going to put this little score piece right here. And now this is where you need to kind of keep in mind side to side, and I find it's easier to flip it upside down, to be honest, because I'm going to line this up right here, and I'm going to line it up side to side with my Designer Series paper so that it's evenly across, and just using this folded over piece as a guide. And once you're confident, we're just going to stick that down. So I'm going to lift that up a little bit. Maybe you can see, this is probably a hard color to see, but this is my flap that I pulled forward. And this is the one that I just taped down. And then this is going to come down around and come onto here. And then when we're done, we're going to be able to fold it flat. Now this is still loose, and I want you to glue this part down while it's in the closed position. So again, this is still closed. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in through here, and I'm going to add in some glue right here on my paper, knowing that with it closed, I'm going to push this down. Right, so everything is so flat right now, it's just beautiful. And then this is going to adhere right here, and don't go out too far, right, with your glue or your tape, because you want it to be right where you need it to be. And then when you open it up, push that open and forward a little bit, you have the perfect tunnel, and you can close it, and it's a thing of beauty, right? And then it sits up so nicely as well. You have to sometimes manipulate just a little bit at the beginning to get it to be right. But there it is, just like that. Those are my little hints and tricks about getting this decorated. Now, of course, we have our layering pieces. This cardstock right here, our first mat, is 3 1/4 by 3. So we're just going to put this down right now really quickly. Just a little adhesive on that, and it's going to layer on here. And the fun thing is you can use all kinds of designer series paper, any color, right? Now this piece of white cardstock, please keep in mind, this is 3 by 2 3/4, so it does have an orientation. It's a little bit longer, so if you were to stamp on it and think you're stamping this way, it's not going to work, right? So you're going to stamp and go this way with it. So just keep that in mind. I brought in just a sentiment. We're going to do a simple sentiment. And I wanted to show you real quick my stamp. So I used, of course, the kitty cat from Best Day for the my original card and colored him in. So cute. I didn't even add any sentiments yet to this guy. He probably needs some more work. For my medallion card, I used this in the background with fresh freesia. And then I used, what did I use? This one right here, Stepping Stones, and we're going to use this again in a minute. This one has some really great sentiments. I feel like because this is something that's going to sit up and be pretty, it should be something that's also kind of thoughtful. So this one says, great works are performed not by strength, but by perseverance. And so I used that for the combination of that card. This one was a lot of fun to make. Let's use the right stamp set. Simply Fabulous. So I used this, the little leafy greens, and I use these little hearts, and I stamped those on here. There's beauty in everything is on here, and of course I did the little punch and the gemstones. I talked about that earlier. And let's see, this one right here. For this one, I used Wildflower Path. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Again, this is something that I think would just be really beautiful to be sitting up, you know, in your office or on display. Just a simple ribbon and a little butterfly die, and this one was just good to go. So look through your stamps and see what you have that may be a sentiment that is just meaningful, that would look really nice kind of standing up. So we're just going to bring in some ink. This one's going to be really simple for right now because I'm not going to go so crazy decorating it, because you guys know how to decorate things, right? I know you like my samples. I actually have this sample left. I haven't done the blue one yet. So I'm thinking butterflies or flowers for that one. So let me know in the comments if you think I should go butterflies or flowers, or both, because that one I am going to do up yet. And so again, we can just do a really simple little stamping on here, glue this on here, and basically this card's done. You don't have to add a lot to it because the fun fold just helps you to make something really awesome. I see that I smudged some ink over here on the side. So I'm already thinking embellishment's going to cover that up. Maybe a little butterfly, something fun, right? But here is my card finished up. And again, that's just something that's really nice. It's going to sit up nicely. I'll take some pictures later, and I'll share pictures of what they look like when they're all, you know, kind of standing up straight so you can see them. But how awesome are these? They're a lot of fun. Now, obviously, you can go really creative with them. You can be super simple with them. But that is a look at the Fun Fold, the Double Tunnel Fun Fold card. That's what we got going on. So that was it. That's our card for today. Hi, Connie from West Virginia. Oh, Jess, I know the math can be hard on this one. And to be honest, I basically ruined 3 card kits trying to figure it out. Once I had it figured out, I knew with confidence I could come on here and I could share the best way to make it so that you guys don't have to fumble through like I did, right? So just follow along. You can save this video if it's something that you want to do later. There's little 3 little dots in the top corner. You can just click on it and save this video, come back to it anytime to watch it, and maybe put a card kit together. Again, I'm going to send out the PDF tutorial in my newsletter. But the video, I think, is the key because you can watch it, you can pause and watch it and put it together. And it really is a really awesome card. So thank you so much for sharing a little time with me here on a Saturday for our Fun Fold. Come back again in March. End of March, I'm going to do another Fun Fold with my online club. And of course, I'm sharing this with everybody because I want everybody to have the fun experience. Now, you're not going to get a kit in the mail from me if you're not my club, but you are going to have all the directions and the idea to go ahead and put one together. And I would love to see you guys doing this and sharing it if you are creating them. Pop some over on Positive Paper Crafters because it's fun to see what you make. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. I appreciate you. I will have that blue card finished at some point and share my finished design. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day and stay crafty. Bye.